Hi guys, welcome back. So Ireland smashed Wales basically 32-9. Wasn't even close. I thought Ireland would win, but this is huge. Essentially, I can only say a shocking first half from Wales. We knew they weren't going to be in a great place, but they were so poor in that first half. We'll get into detail in a bit. Ireland's attack, which is the most important thing for Ireland, really looked like it had evolved. Gibson Park, who played 9, was very sharp. His basics, I thought, were really clean. Passing, kicking, very quick service. And their attacking play was definitely more fluent, more offloads. They made plenty of line breaks, plenty of speed. So very good outing for Ireland. They'll be incredibly happy. For Wales, I'm not sure where they go from here. There were some very average to poor individual performances. As a team, their defence in that first half just did not work at all. I mean, you weren't expecting anything else because A, their defence wasn't working that great anyway, and then they fired their defence coach and didn't have anyone to replace him. It was porous. The hook defence didn't work. They were definitely trying to hook in. They were definitely trying to fly up, but none of it was working. And even when they were making tackles, Ireland were pushing them back and back and back in that first half. So really, really not good for Wales. So let's get into the game, look at some key moments. So for Ireland, about 6 minutes in, Sexton makes a good break, and actually they should have scored. The pass to Lowe was poor. They should have scored right then. And whilst we're mentioning Lowe, let's just say how amazing he was this game. What a debut. That's how you make a debut. He's instantly Ireland's best back. I kind of knew he probably would be. Everyone, including myself, of course, has been saying for ages he should be straight in. It's not only his running game, his power game, his enthusiasm in attack, but his kicking is great and his passing is super class as well. They could use him as first receiver, moving the ball. He's pure class. Instantly their best back three at least. But no, he's their best back. Done. Anyway, okay, there we go. And then 8 minutes, there was a 5 metre line out for Ireland, which they actually mucked up through the throw through Kelleher. Kelleher was okay, not sensational, but he was okay. So already after 8 minutes, they should have been well up. And then they do get a penalty off the scrum 3-0. And their scrum, they absolutely minced the Welsh scrum in that first half. And indeed, I think Rhys Carey gets hauled off just literally before half-time. I mean, getting hauled off before half-time is the ultimate embarrassment for a prop. I think they had a scrum on their own line, and the Welsh management were like, no way. And they got Wyn Jones on, who probably should have started. I'd certainly picked him to start to shore up their scrum. And their scrum did get better, but at no point would you say they had a dominant scrum, so that was a problem. Anyway, 14 minutes, Ireland good attack. Up to the line, but the turnover from Wales again saves their bacon there. And in the second half, to be fair, Wales' turnovers, their jackling was their strong point. It was their one saving grace, really. And it gets evened up 3-3 at that point. A series of bad penalties for Ireland. It goes to 3-3. Then we start seeing some breaks. Lowe makes a lovely break, really powerful, strong, good inside ball, I think it was. Scrum 5 out. Series of really strong drives, and then just the strength of Quinn Roux, I think, smashes over 10-3, and it's starting to look ominous. They get another penalty, sharp turnover from Farrell, 13-3. Then it gets a bit interesting in the fly half stakes for Ireland. Sexton goes off about 28 minutes, Billy Burns on. From then on, Burns looks slick, his passing is nice, that's what he does well, moves the ball very nicely. But then he had to go off later on, and Conor Murray came on and did a really good job, especially kicking at goal. Ironically, I'd just done a video talking about versatility of players like Conor Murray may well help him get in the British and Irish Lions team, and that's exactly why. A guy who can step in and play 10 really nicely and see the game out as if nothing had happened. So that was impressive. Anyway, Sexton's off. Then Wales actually get a scrum penalty, a rare scrum penalty, get it back to 13-6. And then on 33 minutes, though, Ireland just absolutely destroy Wales' scrum. It's really embarrassing, this one. Not only do they win a penalty, but they just shove them completely off their own ball without having hooked the ball. That's the biggest ignominy for a scrum. and that goes to 16-6. So at the end there, very sloppy line out from Wales. They just watch the ball bounce in their in goal, just sums up their half. Ireland can't get the grounding though, so it stays 16-6. I mean, it really was one of the worst first halves I've seen Wales play. And indeed, as you'd hope, the beginning of the second half, much better from Wales. You know, 10, 15, 20 minutes, Wales looked much sharper, it looked very equal, although equal wasn't quite good enough. And they started getting their good turnovers. It goes to 16-9 with a penalty. But then a really good charge down from Doris. I mean, Doris looked good at 8. At times he looked a bit underpowered, you know, due to his age, I guess. But he's a classy player, so I think time will tell for him. Maybe he'll probably move back to 6. I expect Standard to come back in, actually. Healy gets held up from that charge down. Good work from Wales. But then sustained pressure again from the scrum. They get another penalty, 19-9. And it's looking game over even at this point, 50 minutes. But anyway, then we get a first good of high quality attacking play from Wales. Multiple phases. Results in a penalty. And uncharacteristically, Halfpenny misses it. I mean, it's not an easy penalty, but he'd hoped to get it. Then we get the sub for Murray on at 10, and straight away Murray knocks over a couple of penalties, goes out to 25-9, and Ireland are cruising now. They've weathered the storm from Wales, and they're back on top. They finish with some territory, some good pressure, a couple of scrums, and then interestingly on the last scrum, Caelan Doris is so confident in the guys in front of him that he literally doesn't bother pushing, switches to channel 1 incredibly obviously, so just picks it up super quick from the hook, breaks out, feeds Lowe on the crash, and Lowe just caps off the perfect debut, 32-9, just absolutely mince Wales there. So yeah, I don't really know where Wales go from here, to be honest. Mentally, obviously, they weren't playing well. They'd lost 5 in a row. Then they'd had obviously some infighting in the camp for sure. For the scrum coach to be said goodbye, it'd be worse for you to stay here, and it'd be better to have no coach. Just says where they are at the moment. So mentally they're at a bad place. Technically they're at a bad place. Couldn't have come at a worse time. They're going to have to regroup and have a serious look at themselves. The scrum, it was a worry. I'd be amazed if we saw Carey start again. I'm sure we're going to see Wyn Jones start again. Individually, Adams looks dangerous at times. There's some okay stuff, but a lot of poor stuff, a lot of average stuff. And then for Ireland, all the things they did really worked, to be honest. Gibson Park, like I said, Lowe, Burns looked good, Murray in at 10. But they weren't put under massive pressure. They were allowed to play. They gained ground. They offloaded. They moved the ball quick in attack. What can you say? Excellent exercise for Ireland. They've got this Autumn Nations Cup off to a flyer. For Wales, could be a long series. They need a win from somewhere. It's a real test of character. Traditionally, Wales, when their back's against the wall, come up with the goods. Can they do it again? Let's see. Comments below, guys, and until next time, I will see you then.